Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
No, I don't think so.
This middle one. But you said you couldn't hear me. That one looks like you might be able to hear
Oh,
me.
now it is. Now it is. It's working out.
Yep. Okay. I got it. I think I hit okay with that. Okay, I'm working. Thank you.
No problem.
Oh,
Oh,
now people say I can hear you now. Now I can't. Can you hear me still on it, Magni? Oh, now they're saying they can. Okay,
yep, yeah, it's working.
I think I fixed it.
Yeah, it was a little delay, so I think you fixed it and then it was off and then it come back on.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, let's see. Hi, everybody. Giving y'all some time to get checked in. We don't get started till 8 o'clock. Let me see if I can work on TikTok over here. Let's see what we got. Okay, we're on TikTok, so all I do is go live, and I should be good. Okay. Look at it. I gotta go run and grab some stuff. Hang on. What time is? We got a few minutes. I gotta get my car. It's in the other room. Okay. Hey everybody. Tina and Julie and Sarah. We got a lot of people on tonight. Ooh, good. We're gonna have a good night. We're gonna talk tonight about a couple of cool things that y'all might be interested in. I'm sure you'll be interested in them. We're gonna talk about prayer versus spirituality and some of the differences and how a lot of people misconceive prayer and like what prayer really is. I'm going to talk a little bit about that tonight. And then I'm going to give you some tools to help enhance prayers. So we're going to talk about that tonight. All right, let's see. We should be starting soon. So let me hit this button here. And then I will go over to live in just a moment on TikTok, and then I'll be on the TikTok and on Facebook and on YouTube. All right, it's 8 o'clock. Let's get started. Let me go live. And hello, everybody. Welcome to Touch Training the Podcast. I'm your host, Sid Patrick. Thank you for joining me tonight. And tonight we're going to talk about a little bit about prayer, about spirituality, and ways to enhance your prayer work. Okay, and so I want to have that conversation tonight. And I know many of us pray. What I always tell people, it's best to try to pray within rather than out and asking for things. Pray within and help your soul hear that prayer and let your soul carry it through, so that your prayers can be heard to higher powers or other energies or powers that be. Prayer is any time that you are trying to, you can use prayer to heal, like send prayers to people for healing. You can do prayers to ask for something that you need. And so in spirituality, they might use, hey, bestie, in spirituality, they may use other tools, such as candles. And churches will use candles. You go in, many times, especially in some church, you can go in and light a candle for someone that needs healing, or light a candle for someone who needs help, or some maybe even salvation, or You know, you can go light candles for people or light one for yourself, for your own reflection, for your own health. So I tell people all the time that prayer comes in many forms. And it's not just us saying there asking God, you know, what you're doing is you're asking the universe to help you through a tough time, to help make life a little bit easier. Or you might be saying prayers for protection against negativity or anything that you don't want to come closer to you. You may ask for them to be shielded from pain, or and not just pain like physical pain, but also emotional pain or trauma. There are lots of ways to do that, and I want to talk about some of those tonight. We're going to talk a lot about. I'm going to do more rather than traditional prayer. I want to talk more about spirituality and other ways people use prayer, and some may even call them rituals. You know, what is the difference between a prayer and a ritual? For me, but how I feel about it. This is just my own personal viewpoint. For me, prayer is when I'm asking, and I'm just like either mentally asking or saying a little a little prayer to assist in a matter. But a ritual is when you add, you know, physical things to enhance the prayer, like candles, like stones, like herbs. You know, you might do things that have other energies that might enhance or help cleanse. In a lot of cases, cleanse. So I want to talk a little bit about that. Your mom did that, Julie. That's cool. Mom and I used to do light candles for things, and you should. And so let's talk about candles. We're going to talk about some candle colors. We're going to talk about some stones. We're going to talk about just a few basic herbs and resins that are always recommended, and I will help you maybe pick something, you know, in there. And in one of my classes, we actually make a money candle, and we use the herbs and the candles, and we talk about how to do that. So, and I'll tell you about that tonight. But there are other things you can. So let's talk about colored candles. So white candles are usually for spirituality, to enhance spirituality, to send healing or high power thoughts to someone. Black is usually used for protection or shielding against something. That's black and white candles. Green is usually used for value. Sometimes brown is used for value, depending upon what you're trying to do. Red is used for intense love, passion, or sometimes healing of a blood disease. You might use red, or to create an energy to help bring more power or focus onto something. Pink is a lot of time also used for love. Pink is also for calm emotions. Light blue is for communication, for scholarly things, blue is also used for healing and calmness. Blue is also used for dieting. That's why I have no blue candles now. So I tell people, if you want, and I want to share this story with you. So when we first opened the center, when we had the store, one of the ladies, we used to carry diet lights, and what the diet lights were, it was a bulb you would put in your refrigerator, and it was blue. And what it would do is it would make the food not be desirable. It took away your appetite. So blue helps suppress your appetite. So know that I said that, and red will increase your appetite. Red will also increase your flow of spending money. Know that I said that. That's why a lot of restaurants have red tablecloths or red accents in restaurants. So that's a little bit about candles and color. What else? The gold is also used for high power of meditation or high spiritual connection. So is silver. Brown is used for grounding, or used for value, or so you just gotta learn. White again. What is white again? White is for high spirituality, pureness. It's enhancing your growth spiritually. Those are what usually is white for. Black is for protection. White is also for shielding. So if you have the black for protection, you can do a white to shield anything from you. So an example, when we do a house cleansing or blessing, we go through the house first with the black candle to get rid of negativity, to cleanse the negativity out of the area. And then we go through with a white candle to enhance the blessing and the love and to bring up the spirituality. So that's really used a lot in house cleansings and blessings. And so you always cleanse first, then you bless. You have, in order to cleanse a house properly, you must bless it afterwards. And a lot of people don't know that and don't understand that. So basically, so think of it this way. When you understand how psychic energy or the concepts of energy work, if you would have a box full of, let's say, sand, and you pushed it all the way back, hey, Christy, and you pushed the sand back with your hand, and it was clearer, and then if you lift it, the sand falls back in. Well, it's the same thing. When you go through with a black candle, you're rid of negativity, but if you don't fill that area, you've created a void, an energetic void when you go through clearing the negativity. If you don't go back and fill it with blessings, then if you don't fill it with blessings, then all that negativity is going to roll right back in that you thought you just got rid of. So that's why we always do a cleansing first and then a blessing. So would y'all like me to teach y'all how to do a proper house cleansing and blessing? So let's talk about that since we're talking about prayer, because that involves prayer. So when I go do a house cleansing or blessing, family always has to be involved. At least one member of the family, could be more, but at least one member of the family, because that shows ownership. You know, anybody can cleanse a house or cleanse an area and bless it, but if it's someone's home or business that you're going into, you want someone who is there a lot because it needs ownership. It needs that grounding. And so you bring that person is in the group, and then depending upon any religious beliefs or whatever, you can call in higher powers. You will call in higher powers to assist. In our area here, most people are in New Orleans area, most people are Catholic or Baptist, some are Pentecostal, but the majority of them, pray to God, and many of them believe in the saints or the archangels. So a lot of times when I'm in New Orleans and I'm going to cleanse a home, I will call in the archangels to assist. And the best way to remember, you need to remember the little acronym, you are my God. And that's how you're starting in the north, then moving to the east, to the south, and then to the west. So U is for the archangel Uriel, R is to the east, and that's Raphael. M is to the south, that's Michael, and G is to the east, that's Gabriel. So when you can call in the archangels to assist, and then after we call the archangels, we pray to the higher power and ask them to step in. So again, that's how we get started. And then each person carries something. One will carry the black candle, and one will carry some sage. Just some basic white sage is good. Some people like to use, if it's something that's really negative in the house, I might use sage. Sage with rue, or I might just use rue if it's really bad. But you use like a cleansing agent, and so you go through with the candle, the cleansing agent. And then I would also, when I'm going through doing the cleansing, I use the blood of Archangel Michael. It's an oil. And then I anoint all the doors and windows and all the reflective things, because energy can reflect. And so we just mark everything and we pray. And as I get to each window, I just see all the negativity leaving. And I'm saying prayers, and I'm seeing the negativity leaving the home and going past the property line. And then, somebody's going through with the black candle and the sage, and they want to get to every nook and cranny. I will also spray any drains a little bit with the oil of Archangel Michael. And then sometimes somebody will ring a bell, which kind of just clears the area and moves the energy, that's residual energy that's hanging there that maybe didn't get out. It helps move it. So we'll do that, and we move counterclockwise throughout the house and through each room. We move counterclockwise. I'm sorry, it's that way. Counterclockwise through each room and each home. And what I'll do at the end is I will set a piece of foil by the door that we finish at, and when we get to that, I will take and we snuff out the black candle, lay it down. We take anything of the sage and we pound the sage out, and I usually will give whatever's left of the sage, I'll give it to the flame, but I take the ashes and put it on the foil, and then we put everything else away. Then we start with the blessing, which is a white candle, and I like to use a eucalyptus in some holy water, blessed water. I use eucalyptus and blessed water, and I use that as a mist. And then the person goes with the white candle, and then someone carries usually a stick of incense, like it could be sandalwood or cinnamon, depends upon what's going on in the house. We pick a good sweet smelling incense to go through the house, and this time we move clockwise and we go through and say prayers, and we see each room getting brighter, 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 and filling with bright light. We fill it in that positive energy, and we go through the house in a clockwise formation. We get back to that spot where the foil is by the door. We snuff out the white candle, put it down. We tap out the incense and put it there. And I'm also, I said I went spraying through the whole house. And then what I will do is I will fold that up and leave it at the door, and I'll put it outside the door and tell the owners to take that to a river where the stream is moving away, or go off the property and bury it by a live tree. And that's taking all the things that you use for that ritual. So that's a ritual, prayer and ritual. And we either, like I said, bury it or toss it in the river. And then the next thing I do when I finish that piece is I like to do sounding. And I'll either go and I'll use sounding also to fill each room with vibrational energy, that high vibration. And I'll use a bowl and I'll get that energy going high and get that vibration sound going high, and fill that room up and fill that home up with that sound and keep it clean. And you can actually feel the difference when you first go in and when you finish. You can actually, when it's done. And then after that, we get together again and we thank each of the archangels, and we send them back to their places, moving in their positions. Starting, if you want, you can start with Gabriel and go backwards, or you can start Uriel again and go that way. But you thank them for their help, and you ask them to keep an eye on the family or the business, and you send them back for help. And then you ask the high power, the high energy, or some people like to call God, and thank God for assisting with your cleaning and your cleansing, and then you move on. So that's pretty much the best way to cleanse and bless a home. If you do that, that is using prayer. That is a very spiritual movement. And so, but other things. So let's talk about stones. Sometimes a really good protective stone is black tourmaline. Would like to put that over doorways a lot of times. I will use that to help protect a home. If you're in a flood zone, it's good to put a piece of coral by the back door. That'll help with flooding. So that's just a couple of things. I carry a lot of times. You'll see me with my alligator quartz, which is also called a celestial. And that's what I use when it just keeps you connected. It helps you stay in that right brain and keep you connected to your higher spiritual self. So there are stones, candles, there are herbs. Cinnamon is really, really good for bringing money to some place or assisting with money. Sweet basil is good for financial as well. So we'll talk about different things. Like if you wanted to make, example, a money candle, you would use a green candle. You would roll it in olive oil, and you would then roll it into a mixture of basil and nutmeg. And when you light it, you would light it and pray, and you'd put all your bills around in the candlelight, or all the things you want to get paid off, and you would ask for help and assistance to get these bills cleared, or to give you some insight on how you can get through them. Now, let me tell you, if you don't have a plan when you do that, the money's just not going to show up at your door. It helps you it's a prayer to help you get reorganized so that you can get these bills paid. Okay? And so it does work. A good love candle would be pink, and maybe if you want to put some stones, some rose quartz, because that's used for love. And it's also for self-love. And you can mix candles like a pink and a white, high spiritual love. So just know, somebody says, with the Catholic religion, have you ever heard of burying No, it's not St. Jude. It's not St. Jude. It's St. Peter, I believe. Correct, but I know it's not St. Jude, but I believe it's St. Peter. If it's not St. Peter, somebody let me know, but I believe it's St. Peter. you put upside down by your front door in a garden or in a potted plant. It's supposed to help you sow your house. Yes, it doesn't work because I got him buried at my house and he ain't sold yet. I believe the stars help you with that, because my astrologist told me when I'm going to sell my house. And she's so far been right about almost everything she's ever told me. St. Joseph, yes, it is St. Joseph. Thank you. Apache, tears are for grief. Yes, Stacy, that helps Stacy a lot. So there are many stones that will help you too. And when you pray with them, you can hold them in your hand. You can put them, and make a little altar with them. And you can just, if you want to, it depends on how you feel comfortable. None of this is woo-woo. It's all it is a ritual that you're doing with prayer. And many religions have rituals with prayer. I mean, they do, let's use the negative one. When they do exorcisms, there's ritual involved with prayer. Okay, so that's probably one most of you would get. That's why I used it as an example. When you do the Stations of the Cross in church, if any of you are Catholic and know about the Stations of the Cross, when you do the Rosary, those are rituals with prayer. So, that's, what I wanted to get across here is let's talk about those things. Let's talk about the use of energetic stones or candles, the energy that's put out. How do we use them? How do we keep safe? I always like to cleanse myself, and you don't have to say it out loud. You can do it just mentally by saying a short prayer and asking for your higher beings to come down and protect you against anything negative while you're going into this prayer or this ritual thing, and you ask for protection. You ask them to keep an eye on you. But what I have to say to you is always remember that when you call in a higher power, whether it's God, an angel, or just maybe a high healer, the Virgin Mother, anybody you call in to assist you, be sure that you thank them and send them back when you're done. Never just keep that, never forget to do that. Always thank them, give them recognition, and send blessings back with them, because they've assisted you in your ritual. And so those are always just some good points to have, when working with prayer in any fashion or any type of prayer ritual or meditation you might do. A lot of people meditate with stones and meditate in certain colors of candlelight. Well, candlelight's the same, but I mean a certain color candle. Like they might meditate with a pink candle because they want to focus on love. They might want to focus on values, so they might light a green candle. Green doesn't always mean money. Green is also self-value, self-worth, self-love. Those things too. Green is good for that as well. So learn your candle colors, learn some of your stones and what they're good for, and utilize them. And again, we've talked about this, is that if you ever forget what one thing does, think about the color, and if you know that, then every color is going to have basically the same meaning, whether it's a candle, a stone, or sometimes herbs. Some herbs don't even really have too much color, but with candles and crystals and color, it's pretty basic. If you understand what the color meaning is, it mutes through all the different phases. So learn those things. Now, what are some more good stones? So for spirituality, a lot of people like amethyst. I prefer labradorite. So, that's just me. You have to find what you're drawn to and help you. I think labradorite is an absolutely beautiful stone. But my favorite stone is watermelon tourmaline, which it looks like watermelon slices, and it's a stone, and I actually have a necklace and a ring that's watermelon tourmaline. So, and it looks like watermelon slices. It's summer jewelry. So find those things that you like and enhance your life. Bring color into your world. Bring happiness. Bring joy. These are the things that will mostly fight off negativity. If you're in New Orleans, you definitely probably do want a piece of coral in your home, usually in the back of your home, preferably if you have a back door or something like that to put it there. That will help with flooding. Just saying. And know that too. Something that's what I talk about with prayer. So yeah, remember that prayer also has a rebound effect. So how can I explain this? And I had an energy master tell me this once before. So an example would be, I guess the best example would be, like they think Katrina came because for so many years people were praying and pushing and doing rituals to keep hurricanes away from New Orleans. Well, eventually one had to hit. And so from all those years of trying to push away hurricanes for so many years, then the big one comes, boom, So I tell people, don't overdo it when you're praying. Always pray with balance. So so sometimes if we didn't have a hurricane last year that really hit us, so let's have a hurricane this year, just not a bad one, a category 1 or 2. That's a good rainy day with a little wind. Those things are okay. But if you keep pushing them away and because of fear, eventually because you're pushing them to somebody else that's going to hurt. Eventually it's going to come back and hit you. So I always tell people, remember the rebound effect laws in energetics. Remember there's rebound. What you put out will come back. It's sometimes even stronger. So remember that, okay? So like sometimes we need to take a hit with a hurricane here. We want a light one. We want it to hit on the Florida side, because then we get the weaker side of the hurricane. I believe that's how it goes. But I'm not a meteorologist, but there you go. So, be mindful in your prayer work. Never ever pray for harm to somebody. Somebody says, Julie says, I always say that there's good karma and there's bad karma. Yes. It might come back in the same form. Right, it does. Karma, yeah. And that's the thing. Everybody thinks karma is negative. No, good karma is, we experience a lot of negative karma because those are the things you remember, Good karma, sometimes you just like, I got a break. So, but karma is both good and bad. But if you're putting out good, you'll get good back. If you put out something bad, like I said, pushing hurricanes to somebody else, that's actually not a good thing. You don't want the hurricane to come here, but you care if it goes anywhere but here, anywhere but here, anywhere but here. You keep doing it, you send it to all these other places, destroying all these things. That power is going to build up, and when it comes, you won't be able to push it away. It's your tag, you're it. It is your turn, and boom, that was a Katrina hit. So that covered the entire Gulf. So anyway, I thought I would share some of that with y'all tonight to get things rolling about prayer, about spirituality, about ritual, and as long as the intent is from love and is good, there's no rebound that's going to hurt you. So always keep that good. And yes, there are stones like Stacy mentioned, like Apache Tears. It's a great stone for grief. It will definitely you should do prayer work with them. For grief also, I would probably light a pink candle or a blue if you want to open communication, or you want to heal. Blue's also a good healing color. As well, if you want to tone things down, blue is good as well. So know that. Do y'all have any questions about anything that we talked about? And Jamie, if you can watch TikTok for me, and if somebody says something on here, keep me posted so I will know. That would be great. Any questions from anybody? Okay, so I want to continue on. By the way, I wanted to mention that I did speak to Miss Janice. She's anxious to come back, but she had a reading last Wednesday. I can only have her here on this show when Magnie's here, because I'll have to, now that I'm here in Hattiesburg, I have to Google her in. And so Magnie's the only one that's able to Google her in. So she is planning to come sometime in, I think, June. I just got to let her know, and then Zita's going to arrange it so that she can come. She did tell me I was going to sell my house at the end of July, beginning of August. We'll see. Because that's when my house will sell. So we will see. Anyway, let's talk about colors a little bit. So, again, green is also for like, if You would never, like, I would not wear green if I was ill and I had something that was growing, because green is for growth. Green is for value. Green are for those things. So I would avoid green if that was the case. Okay? If I had something going on with my blood pressure and it was low, I would probably light red. If my blood pressure was high, I'd probably light blue and do some prayer work to heal. Okay, you can look a lot of this up. You know, online or Chat GPT will have great answers for you. But the problem with it is that, though, it pulls from so many sources. Like, the one thing I'm gonna tell you, do not do on Chat GPT, because it's usually wrong, is numerology. And the reason being is you have to understand how, hey Veronica, how Chat GPT works. It pulls from all these resources and all these different names. And in numerology, if you study it with me, you'll understand it more, because what people call certain things change depending upon who writes a book, so they don't plagiarize or have copyright issues. So they change the names of things, and when they change the names of things, it changes where they go, sometimes on the chart, and so it will confuse people. So what I tell people, and Stacy can tell you this for sure, because we've had these conversations, that it is frustrating, because it's not what they say it is, it's where it goes on the chart is what matters. And so it's really, really, really confusing. Yes, Stacy, I would return the 2 green shirts you bought tonight, just saying. Green is for growth. Or wear something that's going to counteract it, like a blue, or like a blue would counteract it, or a brown would counteract it. So, you know, just, I would, if I was going to keep it, I would wear something that definitely counteracted the green, right? And then it isn't just for cancers; it's also for like a brain thing, that, you know, anything with the brain, or you know, if I was someone who's a kid, I'd wear a lot of pink. I'd wear a lot of blue. Most cancers are caused from emotional turmoil, or something in the environment. So I would probably wear things like, I'd wear a lot of blues, a lot of pinks, a lot of grays, a lot of whites. You know, those things, even black, because that protects. Does protection. So I would you could Chat GPT what colors you should wear if you have, and put what you have, whatever the illness is, and it'll tell you what you should wear or what you should avoid wearing. And that's a good thing. Is whenever you're doing a like Chat GPT, always put in both, so you can see both sides of it. Like, suppose I have coronary artery disease. I have coronary artery disease. I want to know the best color to wear and the color I should avoid. And it'll tell you, and it'll do all this research for you and do that. Yellow would also be good for something we can't see, but yellow is about knowledge. Yellow is about, it's just also the solar plex. Yellow is also it's like the top of it's like a high physical plane. Because, you know, when you do the chakras, you have the 3 physicals that are below the heart, and the three spiritual, which are above the heart. The heart is the bridge. So I've told you all this a million times, but the most important chakra is the heart chakra, because it's the bridge between the physical and the spiritual. That's why when people get heartbroken, it really tears their health down, because they've broken that bridge between their physical and their physical well-being. And that's why you'll see a lot of times if people are truly in love and one of the partners transitions, the other partner sometimes will go shortly after. And that's because they're in so much grief and so much heartache that the bridge between the physical and the spiritual are broken. So please, you know, nobody is but Tina, but yellow is definitely for knowledge, education. It's for socialization. It's for character. It's for a lot of things. So that's what yellow is for. So I wanted, yeah, because tonight I just wanted to talk a little bit about prayer and spirituality, give you a few things to play around with toy. Y'all all know that cayenne pepper gets rid of people and gets rid of things. Learn, a lot of times it's good just to learn about herbs and plants. So an example, if you've got a swimming pool and you live in the New Orleans area, any of these bayou towns, it's always good to plant mint around your pool and to have maybe a mint smell, or because it will or citrus, because it will repel the mosquitoes. So Tina, the heart chakra is green, and it is the balancer between the physical and the spiritual. It is the balance. It is the bridge between the two, because you have the root, the root, the groin, or the groin, and then you have the solar plexus. So that is the red, orange, and yellow. Okay. Then you have green, which is the heart, and then you have blue, which is that's the first. The communication is the first of the spiritual, third eye, and crown, and then they all 7 colors produce white light. Roy G. Biv, starting at the bottom, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, create white light. The absence of that white light is black. I remember we were doing, we were putting together, when we got the center back in 2013, it was basically a warehouse where it was a storage facility for boxes and things that they were using at the business next door. And we had to go in and literally tear it apart and, move, knock out walls, paint, carpet, get it ready and put counters in and all that stuff. And we'd gotten the Aura camera, and I was so exhausted. They did a photo of me in the camera, and I had no aura. My aura was black. And then I was like, I went outside, I did some deep breathing, and then they took another picture that was black with a little bit of red. But my energy was shutting down because I was exhausted. So, a little bit about auras and energy. So, and Stacy, you should know color well, because Stacy used to go to me to a lot of events with the Aura camera, and she would watch me read photos all day with the colors in the photos and tell them what the colors meant. I like purple too, but purple also, purple, so remember too, all colors have a positive and a negative vibe too. So the negative side of purple is depression and loneliness, but it's also spirituality, higher power, those things. So that every color has both positive and negative colors. So we talked about yellow. The negative for yellow would be someone being not social, not necessarily not quiet. It's not what I'm saying, but I mean antisocial would be yellow. Yellow would be, if your negative yellow could be like that, like a mustardy yellow would be uneducated or hard time learning or not understanding something. So I do know my colors. Stacy can tell you that. Because she got to see me do all kinds of readings with colors, with people's aura photos, because that's what we do at events. And I just floor people when I read them with that. I wish I could do some here. One day I might bring some photos that we've taken and do that. Yes, aura photos are very interesting. Yes, thank you, Stacy. Yes, I do know my colors. Hey, Jill. You're never late. Thank you for stopping in, love. So, anybody that's interested, y'all know if I'm in New Orleans, you can book an aura photo. But you have to, I can only take them when I'm where the camera's at. And we do, basically right now I'm really only pulling it out if we have a major event. Haven't done one in a while because I've been trying to finish school. I'm almost there. 2 more classes. Anyway, So, colors are really important. I actually just taught a class in Las Vegas, and we went over a lot about color and candles. I teach that in my psychic development class, which is called Basic 20, and it's psychic development, and it's all about, hey, Diana. And so that's all we cover in Basic 20. We cover candles, color, tell you what you should wear and what you shouldn't wear at what part of your life. We talk about stones, herbs, both herbs for rituals, but also herbs for medicinal reasons. So you have to do a waiver with that class because I'm not going to have you go out there killing yourself. So it's educational purposes only. I will give you what things are used for. It was a really good, we had a really great class in Las Vegas. It was a good group of people. I should be going back there soon, probably in the fall, to do more. But anyway, I'm trying to get through school first. Anyway, so I gotta quit saying anyway, huh? Anyway, but now I'm gonna say but. But colors are really important. Learn them. Learn your colors. If you learn your colors, the rest will transition. Learn red is for energy. Red is high, powerful. And red is also seductive and sexual. Red is also power and strength. Orange is for emotions. Orange is for both good and bad emotions. Certain shades of orange are signs of people who have been sexually assaulted. So one of the exercises we did at our store was one of our friends had a machine that flashes all the chakra colors in different shades, and it'll flash at different stuff. And you can see that a lot of people, when that negative, like that murky orange color came across, that's the one for sexual assault and stuff. You can tell it bothered some people, like they couldn't look at it. It was evident. People responded highly to like the more vivid sides of colors versus the murky, because the murky are the more negative traits. Hey, Glenda, how you doing? And now, although I don't remember them all because it's been a while since I've had to teach this, but numbers are also associated with colors. So know that too. And if you look at the tarot cards, they are all full of colors, and those colors all mean stuff. So when you learn your colors, you learn more about things. What are you drawn to? So that's also part of color therapy. Have you ever noticed you never go to a hospital and see any walls painted very vivid colors or loud colors? They just don't they put the calming colors and those things, and that's by design. And when you go to a restaurant, that's where you'll see the reds and the red and the white and the golds, and these are the colors that attract. They're trying to attract finances from you. They want your money to eat some food, and they want your food to be palatable. So they'll use some of those color schemes in those arenas. So know that when you go and pay attention to those little details, that would be interesting. Do you have any questions right now about color, about prayer, about stones, about candles? A good money stone is malachite, just so y'all know. You met me once at MRC after my awakening. Yep, I did tell you, start with colors. Colors is very basic, and and once you learn colors, they transition. Like I was telling you, colors transition. Whatever color this color means, it's going to mean the same thing in a stone, in a candle. It's in color. So and in energy, when you look at auras, it all means the same. So if you learn your colors, you already have, I would say, are about 20%. That's 20% of the knowledge you need to move forward with this. Yeah, my psychic development class, Julie. No, I'm just kidding. You can find it online. Just Google it. Google will give you a pretty decent thing. There's a bunch of books, but you don't have to buy a book. You can Google it and get it free, or chat GPT down. In my class, I give a really extensive so when you take my psychic development class, you get emailed this book, or basically it's a resource. It's not nothing we do. It's not nothing I read word for. It's a resource book that you keep with you. It has all the basics on energy, basics on color, basics on stones, basics on all the divination tools and stuff. So again, I'm not promoting the class. I don't even know when I'm going to ever teach it again. But what I'm mainly saying is the information's out there. You can Google it. You can Chat GPT it, and they will give you a really good list of the best stones to have. Some of my favorite. I love malachite. I love labradorite. I love amethyst and citrine. Protection, really good protection. I like black tourmaline. There's so many out there. And again, since I don't have the store anymore, they don't stay in my head, all the stones. I want to call it magnolite, but it's not magnolite. It's magnetic though, but it's a stone. Anyway, and it's really good to help repel negativity too. We used to carry a lot of them. We sold a lot of them in the store. I would say Google the meaning of colors. So type in your computer to Google or to ChatGPT. Give me a list of colors, the metaphysical means, or metaphysical or spiritual meanings of colors, and they'll line up. But what you have to remember, also ask, give me a list of the meanings, both positive and negative, so that and how do you know which is positive color, which is negative? The brighter the color, the more positive. The murkier it gets, the more negative. That's the easiest way to tell you. Larimar is a beautiful stone. Yes, it is the stone of peace. It is the stone that if you have a lot of drama in your life, you want to have a piece of Larimar. I have a gorgeous Larimar ring at home. Big old Larimar stone in it. Larimar is only found in the Dominican Republic. You can't get it anywhere else in the world. So that's Larimar, and Larimar is, because of that, it can be quite expensive at times. But Larimar is a beautiful stone. A lot of people love Larimar jewelry. It's we call it the Valium of stones. If you want to relax, you want to sit with a big old piece of Larimar and just, of course, you're gonna have to sit with it because you're gonna be broke if you got a big old piece because it's expensive. Just like alligator quartz that Raquel always see me when I read Holden a lot of times. That's also a very, very expensive stone. When you go to purchase them, and it's alligator quartz, but it's expensive because it's one of the best meditation stones there is. I used to have a big piece. It was about, let me see if I can get to you. It's about that big and about that wide. And I see me turn. It's because TikTok's over here. And we used to we take our shoes off. We take our shoes off, clean our feet, and put our feet on the celestial when we go into a deep meditative state. It would help you get into the trance states because it really just totally and your mind just went. What does pink mean? Okay, so my friends on TikTok, I covered it, but I'll say it again. So pink is for self-love. Pink is for friendship. Pink is for bringing together bringing together like a companionship, not a love interest, a good friendship or companionship with someone. Pink is very good for that. So, and pink is also self-love. If you wanted to find a person that you want to fall in love with, I would probably use red more than I would pink. Pink is more about self-value or the love of a child or the love of a family member, like that type of bond or love. Yes, Larimar is very good too. Yes, there is a lot of fake Larimar. You have to be careful. I went through special dealers that dealt and it was real what I bought. So how they fake Larimar, they take another stone. I can't think of I know the name, I just can't think of it right now. But they dye it. They even use that to make turquoise, and it's not real turquoise. It's fake turquoise. But it's another stone. I can't think of the name of it. My friend Emily could tell you them all, but I haven't dealt with them in a while, so I don't know. But is it one that they use a lot to fake Larimar and fake the other one I just mentioned, turquoise. They use it to fake those. And again, when you know, this is what people say. Is it fake? Yeah, but it's the stone that they use is still a good stone, but it's done to because people want the Larimar and they didn't have it, so they would. But it's not right. It's unethical to do that. But you know, all stones have energy. Even the rocks on the street have energy. There are some countries you can go to and you can walk a beach full of stones, good stones. Russia is real popular for having stones and like just crazy places. What's it? It's in Hawaii. There's a beach. I can't think of the stone, but it's the whole beach is nothing but this stone. In fact, you can't even you get arrested to pick up a stone, I believe, from that beach. But anyway, so yes, the stones are wonderful. One day you'll get to go mine. We went mining for crystals one time. That was hysterical. Me and Allie lasted about 20 minutes. So gotta go. Crystal collection. Check. Hit the showers. Gotta go. Time to go shopping. I'm gonna go buy my crystals. Screw all that digging for it. All right. Where are we at in time? Let's see. Okay, we've got some minutes, so let's go ahead and do some card pulls while I'm here, because I like to do a few of these every week. I'm just going to use, I'm just going to use the tarot today because I'm going to talk about the color in your card too. So since today was a good color talk, let's look and see. Now guys, what led me into color, remember, was spirituality, prayer, using colors to enhance your prayer work, to enhance what you want to pull to you, what you want to happen. And my friend Jamie went me first. Let's see what you get, Jamie. Roll these out. Roll out the beautiful bean footage. I want this one for Jamie. Look what I got, Jamie. And I know y'all don't have an anniversary coming up because I know that's in January. But when I see this is about love and friendship. This is also about falling in love again with the person that you love. Notice the colors in this, the yellows, the blues, the greens, the browns, the you know, that's all about communication and love and bonding together. The two chalices, coupling. Remember 2 in numerology is about coupling. Okay, so that's what that one's for. All right, Jamie. Nicole was next. I'd like a card, please. Nicole, you've got the 8 of Pentacles, which this tells me about you, that there's a project you need to work on. There's things you need to take care of. It tells me that you got some lined up, but you have some that you've tossed to the side. So know that I said that. So I think there's a project that you pushed away that you kind of need to bring back so that you can have full balance. Again, notice the red, that's about work. And notice that's in the area of the legs, the blue, the shirt, about knowing that they have to work. And then the actual tools that they're using, those are all just some symbols, but trying to get into the color of things. There you go, Nicole. And let's pull a card for Veronica. All right, Veronica, you've got the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups for me, the Knight of Cups for me is all about communication. He is the messenger of the tarot deck. If he's not being a person in the deck, he is the messenger. What this tells me, you have a message coming to you about value and worth. Notice the yellow. Yellow, remember, is the blue is communication, which is most of the card, but the yellow is also about the social connection of that message. All right, thank you, Veronica. And then after Veronica, we have Julie. Julie, you've got the 10 of Wands. This is telling me to tell you it's time to pick up and move with a project that you've been holding off on. Move forward with it. Y'all hear my dryers buzzing. But anyway, it's about moving forward, and it's about having emotional balance with that move. Notice the orange on the shirt. That's emotional balance. Notice the red below that. Notice in the chakras, red is below the orange. Notice how this talks to you, okay? Thank you. And that was Julie. Now let's do Debbie. Hi, Debbie. Saw Debbie this weekend. Hi, Deb. Debbie, you got the... the 5 of Wands, but this is about something that you have to get control over that's happening around you right now. It's grabbing that control back, setting your boundaries with it. Notice in this that the red is the front, the yellow, the mixture of colors and the people. That is to say that this is a conflict of some form. There is something going on, and there's something you start laying boundaries with people so that it can move forward for you. Thank you, Debbie. And Cindy, my friend Cindy, the one I went, me and her husband and her, we all went out together last weekend to KJ's. Looking at the Three of Wands. Three of Wands is saying, looking what you're going to do next. Like, okay, this is my career now. Where am I going next? And it's time to start planning that now. Notice the green at the feet, the green across. It's about value. The red is about moving that energy into that area. Notice this card doesn't have a lot of blue. It's not about communication. It has yellow. It's a lot about bringing new things and joy into your life. Looking at new possibilities. Okay? All right, Cindy. Let's go to, Lord, let's go to Glenda. Glenda, you've got the Pope. You've got the Hierophant. What that tells me is, Glenda, there's something that you've been wishing for, that prayer for, that will come true. So say more prayers. The Hierophant is basically the Pope of the tarot deck. Okay? Not going to go a lot in color with him because he's not one of the other he's a prime card. He's one of the major cards, not a minor card. And who's next? I pulled this one for whoever's after Glenda is Sarah. So Sarah, you've got what I call the unwanted visitors. So what that tells me is, watch who's coming around you right now. You may need to set some boundaries with some people so that you can move forward with things. Notice the first one's wearing the orange. That's about emotion. Notice the communication with the crutches. Not communicating, they coming over. They just show up at your door. So watch that. Okay. And Sarah, Mike, I'll take a card because here we go. Let's see which card you get. Mike, of course you got this one. You've got the Three of Cups. This is all about celebration, joy, and balance. This is about the mind, body, and spirit coming together. The physical in red. The white is the spiritual, and the yellow is the mental. It's about all bodies coming together and having a celebration. So I think this is about celebration for you, about time to make some change that you can celebrate for. And then Diane wants a card. Okay, Diane, you get a card. You get the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands is completing a project. Completing a project, but you have to give yourself credit for completing it. Don't look at like something you just accomplished not being rewarding for you. Look at it as a reward. Look at it as a next step. Look at it as moving forward. And I'm going to say that to you, my friend. And where am I at in the mist? Oh, I'm on Christy. Hi, Christy. Christy, you've got the Hermit, which this is for me is very different. This is my time card in tarot. So what this is telling me, I think that you have some spiritual awakening or something that's happening with better communication, but not right now. It's a little bit later. It's down the line. This is my time card. I'm going to leave that with you, Christy. And after Christy, I have, thank you, hi, love, hi, Daphne. I'll take one. Okay, Tina. Tina, oh, I like this one for you, Tina. You got the Nine of Pentacles. And this is all about old money. This is about looking at what you already have and putting value to it so that it can enrich your life. Notice the yellow. Notice the red. I don't want to get into the symbology. We'll do symbology another time. This is all about the color. The coins are about value. The yellow. Look at the designs on the dress. It's all about settling down and taking value about who we are, and so that our life can be enriched. And let's see who's next after that. It was Tina. Now it's Joe on TikTok. All right, Joe on TikTok. Then I got a Mousy on TikTok. Joe on TikTok. Let's see what I get for you. You've got the Ace of Wands. This is something new in the business that you're that the work through. This is something new coming at you. This is a gift from heaven saying this is a change in your career path or in your work path that's going to help things grow, help things. And if you're someone who's retired, this would be like a new project or something you get involved in to help bring in new people around you, bring in things around you. I'll leave you with that, Joe. And then we're going to go to Mousy on TikTok. Mousy on TikTok has the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups is all about family. It's a family celebration. It's a family coming together. It's understanding the wholesome and love of family. Okay, and notice the colors, the yellow, the rainbow, all the different colors by the kids. It's all colors are in this because it's about coming together. And I'm going to leave that with you, Melcy. Oh, and Melcy, I can either show it to you over here because I'm showing it to the other camera, and I have to show. I'm going to show. This was Joe's card, the Ace of Wands. So sorry about that. I got to remember I got two cams going. And who else do I have next? Joy wants one. Okay, Joy. Let's see what you get, Joy. Joy, you is this is Joy. Joy, if this is Daphne's friend Joy, this is definitely for you. This is the Four of Wands. This is about getting your house back. This is about home. This is about that communication, about moving back, about getting back to what you call home base or what you want to be at home. So I'm going to say that to you. And Celeste, I got you, girl. Girl, you got justice. You need to, and I know what that is for you, girl, because I know you. This is about getting that legal stuff done with that house and getting what you need to get that house sold. Have you sold it yet? Text me, let me know, or put it in here. Hi, Angel. You are next. So you've got the Seven of Coins. Seven of Coins is all about watching your money grow. So now's the time to take something and watch it grow. Don't kill yourself. Don't put yourself in any risk. But this is a time when you can take a little bit of money and watch and help it grow. Whether it's a small investment, well, it's buying something that will later have value. It's about investing in you. So I'm going to leave that with you, my friend. And where am I? Daphne. Good night, Julie. You have fun, my love. Daphne, you got the Knight of Swords. And this, why does that surprise me? This is all about fighting for justice, fighting for what you believe in, moving forward with any projects that you need to find completion with. And that's what the Knight of Wands is about. And I am going to stop there and talk to you guys a little bit as I get close to signing up. That was a whole bunch that I just did. Jamie, did I miss anybody else on the Tiki-Taki? Tell them to please send me some hearts on Tiki-Taki so I can get some love in there, so I can make my whole penny. Oh, we're getting ready to do on TikTok, the puzzle piece. So after so while that you're talking, TikTok makes you put a puzzle piece into a puzzle to make sure you're still on. Okay, got it. All right. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of, you're welcome, I'm going to do a little bit of symbology for you. Somebody wants me to chat right now. I can't. I'm on my live. They should be in the live. This one should have been on the live last week when I talked about what he wants to know about. Okay, not praying to Saint Joseph. I've been praying for Saint Joseph for a while. Let's talk about some symbols. So, birthday cake. Actually, you know what? Let's do something better. Let me pull some color. I've got colors in here, so I'm gonna pull some colors. So in symbology, symbology is a deck that Magni and I produced to help people with their communication with the other side. And in that, there are 78 symbols, and some of these symbols are just basic colors. And so I think that's it. So these are the color cards in symbology. So, TikTok, of course I'm on TikTok. He's like, TikTok hilarious. Of course I'm on TikTok. I'm not a big person on TikTok. I go on TikTok once a week with the live. I don't really do a whole lot more. But blue, this color blue is really used a lot in healing, in medicine, in calmness, in those things. Green, this is growth, value. This is things to start to develop. If you want to develop a project or something. Yellow is education. It's knowledge. It's also putting light where things that were once dim. So that's a little bit about yellow. Red is energy, love, lust, all those things. It's also for your blood or for your liver, because the liver filters blood. Remember that. So you can look at different things. This is orange. This is your emotions. This is your gut reaction. This is the color orange, and it's in different shades. And this is purple, and this is for the high spirituality. Loneliness at the top, could be depression, could be connected spiritually, those types of things. So again, that was just a little bit of colors that were in the symbology deck. And of course, there are many, 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 many symbols in the symbology deck. And I mentioned this a couple weeks ago and had a couple people call me to get the symbology deck. If you want a symbology deck, I can't sell it to you, but I can give it to you. But this is how I got to give it to you. You call me for a very short, it's a $25 reading. If you message me on Facebook Messenger or you send me a message in TikTok, I will set up a time with you. It costs $25 for the reading. I open up a deck. I don't open a deck. I use a deck that I have. I do a reading for you, and then the reading costs $25, and then I free email you, as long as within the continental United States. I will snail mail you a deck of symbology cards that you can practice with. Also, if you go to YouTube and you type in my name, Sid Patrick, and symbology, there's a little YouTube video about some of the things you can do with the symbology deck. That is also available. I had a couple people last week wrote me after we mentioned it on the live, and they got $25 readings, and I mailed them a deck. So the deck is free, but the reading's $25, and I will mail it to you anywhere in the continental United States. So just give me a shout if you're interested in a deck of symbology cards, and I will arrange it so that you can get them. So anyway, I enjoyed talking to everybody tonight. I will be this weekend with my girlfriend Daphne, and maybe her girlfriend Joy, and God knows who else, and maybe the besties. We will be in Biloxi at the Palace, and we're going to, I'm thinking about renting a cabana on Saturday so that we can hang out by the pool and have some fun. So anyway, stay tuned next Wednesday when we will continue our talk. Some of you have asked me to talk more again about numerology. Some have also asked me to talk more about dreams, and so we can do those conversations coming up. Until then, thank you all for joining me tonight at Touching Eternity Podcast. I'm your host, Sid Patrick. Thank you for joining. Bye.